How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Unsigned Pop Punk Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Tarnowski. We still got Brett hanging out with us. So while Gibby is away, which I love Brett. He's my friend, and I love him. But today, I want to tell you, I'm stoked for this. When I saw the comeback, I was like, "Yo, this is up my alley here." I'm real excited about this. This is old school. Today, welcome Nick Dodson from the Illinois band, the Junior Varsity. Yo, Nick, welcome, man.
Yo, so thanks so much for having me. I really, really appreciate your time today.
Hell yeah. So stoked about immediately brought me back to like the early 2000s. I hit you up and I was like, dude, we went on tour together like a
Yes.
freaking long time ago.
A lifetime ago, some might even say.
Yeah, at least it is.
A couple.
It's been so long that like my kid was there was no kids. We're just youngsters. It was a time. I think about the very first show of the tour we did all the time. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. We won't share it on here. There's a lot of things that happened that night. But the DeKalb, right? DeKalb
Yep.
University? Yeah.
Yeah, it was in DeKalb, exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, was it Northern University in DeKalb? I gotta think what college is there.
I don't know, but or was it DePaul?
Probably
It's
DePaul. Yes, it's
DePaul.
probably DePaul. Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
It was DePaul. We played on a random stage with nobody watching us in the middle of like this hill. No one watched us. It was super weird. And then they're like, some people came up to us and were like, "Hey, dude, you want to go to a party tonight?" And we're like, "Fuck yeah, let's stay and let's go to this party." And then so much chaos ensued after that.
That sounds about spot on for about 80% of our experiences on the road. It seemed like most of the shows would be, eh, but then the culture and the community around it would be like, yo, this is
Dude,
a core memory now. So totally
that
agree.
that was it. Like I said, one of the key moments of my life. Like it is something that will never go away. I remember going just to that party, walking in and be like, "What the fuck? This only happens in movies. What this party was only what happens in movies. This isn't real life." But it
Yeah, it felt
was.
like a coming of age teen movie or something, right?
It 100% was a coming of age teen movie, and I'm happy that I got to spend that with you.
Me too. What a small world. I was really, really excited to hear from you. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk a little bit about it today.
Hell yeah. But let's talk about new Junior Varsity. So you just released two new singles, Guilt and Anxiety. So can you tell us a bit about the new songs and how the response has been for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, uh, you know, some of these songs, some of the riffs, some of the ideas go as far back as when we were still together. Like some of the guitar parts, some little spots here and there. So we've always kind of kept a Dropbox of ideas.
Okay.
And Asa only lives about an hour away from me. Andy's down in Nashville. Sergio's up in Chicago. Chris is out in Baltimore. So he and I are the ones that are really close to each other that kind of polish some of this stuff. So we just started leaning into it in the very room you're looking at right now. I know it doesn't look like a music studio, but I have a wonderful setup here that he and I do a lot of the work on.
Yeah.
So ultimately, anxiety and guilt are, uh, the two newest songs we've released in 15 years, and I'm really proud of them. I think that they've got a good bit of energy, angst. Quite literally, some of it can even cause anxiety, I think, especially when it comes to maybe the AI music video that we put out with it. A lot of people
Yeah.
are like, oh my gosh, why'd you use AI? It's like, well, how does it make you feel? Well, like, it makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like, perfect. That's literally what I like art to make you feel some way, right? Like, that's why we exist. That's why we create art is to make you feel some kind of way. And sometimes that is anxiety or
Right.
anxiousness, right? So, honestly, anxiety is, in my opinion, kind of like an examination of mental and physical exhaustion, societal pressures, religion, faith, and society in general, and the way we kind of are sometimes shaped without being knowing that we are.
Hmm.
So I'm really proud to kind of discuss some of the topics that I believe structurally, foundationally serve us more than we realize as young kids. So I think it's a very exciting thing to have some of the driving energy behind the music of the JV, and now fine tuning that music in with some really, in my opinion, relevant vocals and lyrics that kind of are a zeitgeist for the time, right? Because I don't know anybody that's feeling the best right now when it comes to just getting around, right? It's
Right.
kind of scary out there. So
Quite.
yeah, yeah. And then when we go into Guilt, Guilt we just released last week, and it would be I've got a little dog with a chicken wing here. I apologize, that will not leave me alone. Just as a heads up,
Nice.
her name is London, and she is my whole wide world. So you will see little dog noses here and there. But Guilt, it kind of it's more so about recognizing the pedestals we put people on, and realizing things for what they are. There's a lyric in there that says, "You look so normal now," and that can go for um, previous lovers, friends, organization of systems, and society in general. Sometimes it's like, oh, you kind of once you pull the curtain back, the Wizard of Oz is just that fat dude sitting there like controlling all the operations, right? So it's kind of an
Right.
interesting entendre, I think, as well. That exploring the feelings of frustration and trying to see where those come from. So the reactions from fans and people at large have been wonderful. I've heard from just a ton of people that I hadn't heard from in quite a long time, to brand new fans. You'd be surprised how many young 21, 20-year-old people are DMing us saying like, yo, this is what's up. I'm loving this. And just having that breadth of like the 20-year-old crowd to the 45-year-old crowd, it's like, okay, this is cool and it's fun. And I tell you what, now that we don't have to be focused on paying rent with our art and making financial choices with that stuff, it's so much more freeing to just have a hobby that I love to do and a hobby that I can still do with my brothers. So we're extremely lucky to still be able to even do this.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, as you were saying, I mean, this is the first time in, you said 15 years now that you guys are making music, and I know you've done a handful of reunion shows over the years too, but what would you say was like the driving factor behind recording these new songs and getting them out there? Because I know you were saying that the ideas have kind of been, they've been there for a long time. So I guess it was just kind of a matter of, let's just do this, or what was the thought process there?
That's a great question. With five grown men's schedules, it's very tricky, to line that up, right, with kids and families and wives. And I am one of the ones that have no wife, no kids, and a recent vasectomy. So, you know what I mean? I'm really able to fine tune my time a little bit, right?
Right.
Anyway, with that being said, honestly, it was just kind of like, what are we waiting for? Let's just have fun. We're still alive. Like, knowing I have had so many loved ones pass away, become deceased at young ages, that like,
Right.
you know what? While we're alive and able to create art and have joy and levity and like still do cool things with our friends, we should. It's like, what else, if it's not for levity and things that make us smile and at least like kind of like allow us to flex our creative muscle occasionally, like what's the point? Like I can pay bills and rinse, wash, repeat the rest of my life and be miserable, but like taking that little bit of time out of my day to be a little bit more intentional with, hey, letting fans know we're doing this, being more intentional with like, hey, let's set up the time to get down to Nashville to record this at Belmont University. It took a lot of planning. I'll be real honest with you, but my whole thing is I'm an organizer and have been my whole life. I realized that as a young man, it really brought me a ton of joy to help pull off complicated either tours or merch pickups or album releases or all those things. And now as an adult, I'm still a community organizer, and in my 9 to 5, I serve the home insecure community and work in homeless crisis response. So, like being an organizer in that capacity is my 9 to 5. But in the evenings, I'm a volunteer with the San Valley Sierra Club, so organizing environmental, callbacks to local electeds, organizing protests, getting 500 signatures for a push at city council, like those kind of things bring me a ton of joy. So it's just like,
Hell
you
yeah.
know what? I'm doing myself a disservice to not just cut out this much for creativity and joy. And I was a little bit more, I've been a little bit more deliberately intentional in trying to be like, you know what? I have to be creative minded. So being more intentional about getting more concerts, seeing Asa and Andy and Sergio and Chris more, and just really leaning into it, saying, we got one life to live. I don't care if nobody likes it. You know who does like it? Me and my boys. And if other people do too, that's a wonderful symptom of that. So
Oh yeah, I mean we're
Very cool.
stoked
Yeah.
stoked to have you back for sure. Like, and I get that with like the you know, it's at being older especially, it's hard to find time too. Like you have
it
to like
really is.
it's like creating time.
Yes. Yes.
Like
You have to schedule it.
you
You
do.
have to schedule it. Like there's no like I can just fall into it anymore, especially when you've got all the different bills and all the upkeep of just the day to days. You have to like really be intentional with your time and deliberate. And that's one of the trickiest parts. And I find that if you just honor that a little bit here and here, that intention, it works. It's almost like going to the gym. You know what I mean? If you're
Yeah.
willing to cut 15 minutes out for once a week for a while, and then maybe it's 30 minutes for once a week, and just a little bit here and there, I tell you, it's made it a heck of a lot easier, you know, especially with the amount of joy we have doing it. I'm telling you, like hanging out with Asa and writing vocals and guitar parts and different ideas is just a blast, you know, create as you know, if you find something that puts you in a flow state, do more of that. So it's hard to say when a friend, when my boy Asa comes over here and we're just in the zone, it's like we blink and 4 hours have come by and we have a
Mhm.
you know, a whole new verse and a bridge that we're just in love with, or we hate, you know what I mean? It could even be,
Mhm.
well, hear it the next day and be like, yo, that's trash. Throw it all away and let's start again, kind of a thing. So, but that's fun to me. So,
Yeah, and you got to hang out with your friend. Like that's
right.
like
Right.
a lot of times, you
Foundation,
know,
yes.
as
Yes.
as an adult, like you kind of forget. I remember like being younger and just all I did was hang out with my friends. Like they just came over, they'd leave at 3 in the morning, we'd watch movies, we'd do fucking nothing.
Right.
Um, but like now as an adult, I'm like so stoked to go hang out with my friend that lives a mile down the fucking road for the first time in 2 months. You know, it's like,
Yes.
why don't we do this? I don't know. I don't know. Like, well, there's a ton of shit that gets in the way, but also you also get really, really comfortable with just go like, I just want to go home and I just want to do nothing. But why? Like sometimes, you know, that's awesome and you need that, but you also need your friends.
Oh yeah.
Big time. I'm a big believer in community. Like, you know, either you're going through a hard time or you just are, you know, isolate a little too much. You know, I think
Mhm.
community is one of the things that's always pulled me out whenever I've been at a low place or when I've been at a high place. There's like always like having a few people that I love around is paramount. But I totally agree. It's easy to get into that isolation, doom and gloom, rinse,
Yeah,
wash, repeat cycle. It's so easy to, but you kind of got to throw a wrench in the middle of it or you'll just get sucked into the intoxication.
Right. Right.
100%. So, like what's the Junior Varsity's plans for 2025? You got some fun stuff planned? You got like tour, new album? What you doing?
Yeah. So I've not announced this really anywhere, but I'll go ahead and give it to you guys. How about that? Smart Punk Records is going to do the 20-year anniversary of Wide Eyed this year.
Dude,
So
smart
Nice.
they're
that
Very
licensing
cool.
it, and
we
yeah. So
just
we just
Matt's
go ahead, go ahead.
Matt's Matt was Matt's this week's guest. You know,
Best dude,
love
best
Matt.
dude.
Love
One of
Matt.
the kindest dudes ever. Got introduced to him by a guy named Jeremiah from here in Illinois, and Matt is just good people. Now, some of you might not know that we were on the Warped Tour on the Smart Punk stage for 2 summers, so this is a
Mhm.
fun coming full circle kind of moment a little bit, which I think is awesome. Number one, because I love being a part of groups and concepts that we already were, so it feels kind of like home. And he's just a very warm, welcoming person. So that's the one thing that I'm extremely excited about. I've had probably no less than 400 or 500 messages on our social media accounts asking about vinyls over the years, and I've always just kind of
Yeah.
been like, now I can be a little bit more intentional. Like I said, I've not announced this anywhere. I've not posted this anywhere, so this is the exclusive nose notice of this. So hopefully Smart Punk's not mad about it, number one. I'm sure they won't be, but
Matt, we love
you know,
you.
yes, Matt, big time, big time. But other than that, I am just now starting to book some of 2025. I did just secure a festival that we are going to be co-headlining in the Chicago area this
Okay.
Very cool.
June. Um, don't want to announce the name of it yet, just because I still have some negotiations to do. But that is in the middle of
Sure.
June in Chicago. So if there are any folks in that area, we'd love to see you. We will be doing a string of re-release events, we'll call them. So it just kind of depends on what comes up. I'm all big about what opportunities kind of fall in our lap. Last year, I'm sorry, 2023 3, we did 2 sold out shows in New Jersey with Houston Calls, and then we did a sold out Midwest tour with Spitalfield. So if something comes on our plate and it lines up, we're there. It's tricky, obviously, having us all kind of spread throughout. But with that being said, we are always willing to do some cool stuff during the summer, especially because Wildrick is a professor down at Belmont University in Nashville.
Oh,
so
wow.
he gets that little summer time off kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that makes it a little easier. But that also was a huge benefit to us recording these new songs. Because he is a professor down there, we were able to use, it's called Capitol Record Studio 2, I think is what it was called. It's like a historically preserved, incredible, beautiful studio. It's like where they recorded like all the original Christmas hits that like everybody knows, of like Bing Crosby and all that. Just an incredibly historically beautiful facility that we were lucky enough to even just go, put these 3 songs down in. So, having somebody that's still so tied into, the music industry still there has really made it a lot easier to kind of reignite that flame as well. So
that's so cool.
Outside of that, I'm still working on ideas. I've got a lot of offers. I've got some different things I'm planning because I'm always the DIY guy. I'm always trying to plan my own shit. It's like, oh, there's nothing available. We create our own table then. You know what I mean? We set it up from the ground up, DIY or die. So just kind of depends. If I see an opportunity come across our plate, if anybody wants to book us for something sick, we'll probably do it if the money and the timing's right. It just kind of depends on what.
Right. And DIY diets, I mean, that's the way you got to do it. It's just
right.
Like if you're not going to do it, most likely nobody else is going to do it for you. So,
right. No, exactly. I mean, coming from a small town of like, let's see, I grew up in Jacksonville, Illinois, and that was kind of where Junior Varsity started. There were no music venues. We did VFWs, AMVA halls, the Nicholas Park Pavilion that was $100 whole to rent. I mean, just interesting, spots
church
throughout
basements,
Illinois. Exactly. So there was many shows that JV was not only the headliner, but also brought the sound for an additional couple $100 for the entire concert. So we were always, ready to hustle to pay the bills, to say the least.
Yeah. And that's what was so fun about the music scene, especially back then. It's people are still doing it now, but I don't know. There's definitely not as much like DIY ethos as I remember when we were doing it, playing in church basements, the basement of friends' houses, or like renting out your like I remember in Duluth, like we would rent out an event space called the Sports Garden, and we would put on shows there. We would bring a huge stage. We would pay for the stage. We would pay for the sound. It would be a big, huge event like that because they didn't put on concerts there. And this was a big place we could do that. And, it's like you don't see that as much anymore. People are like, well, there's no venue here. There's no all ages venue.
Right.
And it's like, well, make one, man. It's what we all did.
I tell you what, I totally agree on that. You don't see it as much, but I have honestly seen some really awesome DIY work done right here in Springfield. That's where I'm at, Springfield, Illinois. There's a couple local bands. I won't call them local bands. There's a couple younger bands. One specifically named Discern and one named Prevention. They're a hardcore band. They are building the scene. They're bringing traveling hardcore bands into dumb records to pop-up events in like hallways that aren't allowed, like doing really cool, like really truly DIY stuff. So while I don't see it enough, I am seeing it in my hometown just a little bit, and it brings me so much damn fire. It's like, man, I love seeing these guys just doing that. Anytime I see it, I'll message the boys and be like, yo, keep going. This is so sick. Like, just I love hyping that up and seeing that going on.
And also, I do want to shout out in our hometown that the hardcore scene is also what's doing that here, like basement shows and all that sort of stuff. I don't think I've ever seen anyone DIY harder though than the band Silly Goose. Have you ever seen Silly Goose or anything? Oh my gosh.
I don't think I'm familiar.
Oh my gosh. Love Silly Goose. They're like new metal, guys just going out there. But like their whole tours, like especially, but not so much now because they grew a ton over the time, but they were touring like outside of like big tours. Like if Spirit Box was going around, they just would follow Spirit Box and play outside of the venue.
Ooh,
They had
that is silly.
they had their own like stage, and like they just traveled with this big
I
truck and a
have
stage
seen
thing.
this. Yes. Is this the group that sometimes the cops would show up on their videos and the reels? I think I've seen.
All the time.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen this.
They got
Yeah, I have seen this. That's
they got
sick.
shut
Honestly, that's
down all
clever.
the time. Yeah.
That's so smart. Honestly, guerrilla marketing, guerrilla,
Oh yeah.
theater. Come on, that's
Yeah.
with it.
Genius.
Love that all day. Love that.
Genius. Yeah. I love it as well. And back to you though, I'm super stoked for the 20-year re-release. That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We're gonna take our time and do it right and make it a really neat release. We're currently compiling a ton of old posters and flyers, and I've got some really beautiful art done by like Double J from stuff we did at the Metro, and old tour posters from when we were out with Panic at the Disco in Europe, and Straight Light Run, just like some really cool posters to make one of the entire leaps like nothing but nostalgia, bump central. So
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Brett. I keep talking over you. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I mean, that kind of leads us right into the next question too. I mean, we're talking about anniversary releases and like looking at the Junior Varsity's kind of career as a whole. I mean, you've had some major accolades, playing Warped Tour, playing with some pretty massive bands, even having a video on MTV, and the list goes on. What would you say are some of your favorite moments of being in the Junior Varsity?
okay, I'll give you two.
Okay.
One that immediately comes to mind is we were on tour on the West Coast for the first time since we signed with Victory Records, and I saw our album in a Walmart and our T-shirt in a Hot Topic. That's when I was kind of like, oh,
Yep.
we were in a really cool spot, and I'm really lucky. It was just kind of an epiphany moment, right? Just kind of like, what? This is wild.
Right.
Number one, I'll give that as number one, and number two. Is it Amoeba Records in LA? Is that the giant one that's like 4 or 5 stories? It's like some enormous used record and new record store. I think it's Amoeba. It doesn't matter. It's it's the biggest one in LA, or was 20 years ago, we'll say.
Okay.
Anyway, I was walking down the street on my way to meet up with the boys. I had stayed with somebody else the night prior, and we were just like, hey, we'll meet here tomorrow. So I'm walking down the street, and who do I see walking up to approach? Claudio and Travis from Coheed and Cambria. And I am an enormous Coheed fan, right? Literally saw Coheed in a room of 100 people in Iowa City at Gabe's Oasis, where the bass player literally choked somebody out that tried to get on stage. He grabbed a pipe, choke slammed some dude that he didn't want on stage because he was trying to steal the mic from Claudio, and then the guy got off stage. Just a wild, small performance. It was them and Hope's Fall, nonetheless, who we ended up touring with later.
Oh, I love Hope's Fall.
I'm a big Hope's Fall fan
so
myself
good
too. So it was a sick concert, clearly.
Yeah.
So that was the little interculinary chapter there. But so I walked through those guys, see them, and I'm like, hey guys, I just got to let you know, your band means a lot to me, and it's been formative for me. I just wanted to give you some praise. I didn't even tell them who I was, what I was, not that it mattered. And then when I got to the record store, I found like 10 used copies of our CDs. So it was like, there's 10 used albums out there of ours. It was just like a mind-blowing, like in LA kind of a realization. So seeing like one of my favorite bands and then finding our CDs used for sale in an old record store, it just kind of like was a neat, moment, we'll say. So yeah, a couple ones there.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Like Coheed, awesome. And like knowing seeing used record, that's fucking cool. Like
nothing, and seeing so many of them, I was like, that's sick. 10 people didn't love the record, so they got rid of it. Whatever, but it's cool to me to see it regardless.
I mean, there was 10 of them. I remember, like, I once was at a like our local Savers, and I saw a bunch of like my friends' bands like in Savers, and I was like, this is so hilarious and awesome. And I bought all of them. I bought every single one. There was like 10 different records, and they're all signed. They were all signed by the band. I'm like, somebody gave up their memories. I guess I'll take them.
Right.
It was awesome. It's I think it's cool. But to see like bands, that were, busting ass. It's not like you found like Green Day in Savers or something. It was like, oh, there's a Sing It Loud record in here. This is fucking cool. What?
Right.
Yeah, so I totally get that, and I think that's rad. But speaking on of like your music throughout the years and stuff, like what Junior Varsity song would you say? Yeah, I mean, you can pick more than one if you want to, but which song would you say means the most to you and why?
Good question. I would go with The Sky. It was on our final album, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the content or the topic, but we also there's a couple reasons it's my favorite. Visually, we had a music video made by the same company that did the stop motion animation for Robot
Right.
Chicken. So
Yep.
that was something
Okay.
that I grew
Yeah.
up like loving stop motion, like Jason and the Argonauts, like all those cool old school movies with the snake creatures that would be fighting people. And
Yeah.
I just like how uncomfortable it kind of made you feel, right? It's almost like that old school Tool video,
Yep.
just like always hit me so hard. So I hit up Seth Green's management company. I was like, yo, I want to, and they were like, hey, Seth just records this audio and sends it to these guys. Here's the intro. Got the intro. Rest is history. Just a really cool group out of LA that ended up making the video. So I love the visualization of number one being stop motion animation. I've got the puppet in my spare bedroom as a fun little trophy. He's about this
That's
tall
so
for anybody
cool.
that's wondering. And so that visually was a big reason why The Sky was so important to me. And side note, whenever we went to their studio to meet them, they had all of the original like Christmas puppets, like the Abominable Snowman, the Rudolph, like the old school ones, because they were
Whoa.
restoring them. They're apparently a restoration as well as stop motion company. So it was like amazing to see those in person. I
Right.
didn't, I was
Crazy.
like, what? No way. So that, and then honestly, the content of The Sky is really important to me. Again, in my opinion, it's almost like The Sky is a precursor to anxiety and guilt. It started kind of examining the status of our social well-being. It talks about minimum wage. It talks about being oppressed by the police. It talks about minimum wage. It talks about the war. But it also has some really sick, in my opinion, almost like Coheed Cambria riffs at the end. It also has like some anti-climactic chorus to where the chorus is more of an anti-chorus, which I think is kind of cool, where it's not actually the biggest, warmest part, and the verses are actually kind of what you focus on. So
Okay.
there's a lot of reasons, but honestly, I think the content of The Sky's, social analyzation was really important to me and kind of led way for planting the seed of like, hey, this is maybe what we do later. And I've always really enjoyed our analysis of society more so than just like, hey, a girl dumped me and I'm upset about it, right? So it's cool to hear, hey, does God exist? Are cops actually shitty people? Is minimum wage necessary? Is it, should we be bombing other countries? Like that kind of stuff. So being able to thread that needle into our progressive emo pop sound, I think is one that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, absolutely.
Oh.
Go ahead, Pat.
Nothing. I thought you were gonna. Nothing. You go. I got nothing.
There's an awkward delay sometimes, where it's like,
Right.
well, just, no. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to ask about is, we all grew up in the MySpace era, right? I mean, it's just synonymous with the music scene. What have you found? Like, how do you guys approach, social media and marketing now, where oftentimes, you're a musician, but now you also have to be a content creator too, because the scope has shifted.
Mhm.
What have you guys had to do differently these days compared to, our heyday from the MySpace era?
That's a great question. Like, so back when we had MySpace, we had over 1 million plays on MySpace, probably 100,000 whatever friends. It was our heyday as well. Like MySpace was very formative for us and very attributable to our success, I think, honestly. Like that was foundational, right? And now that we are, trying to let folks know again and having to sacrifice animals to the algorithm gods to be seen in any capacity, it's hell. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's the worst thing I've ever experienced when it comes to trying to let people know about anything I'm doing, right? Like, okay, um, you know, we didn't even have access to our own Spotify until 2 months ago. I had to fight for like 6 months to even get access to that.
Jeez.
We don't have access to our old YouTube channels. We don't have access to like anything that says our name. We pretty much don't have, and we aren't getting
Really?
access to. Yeah, and it's an uphill battle because
Mhm.
let's say Victory Records created our YouTube channel. It has 500 subscribers, has over 250,000 streams. But Victory is defunct. They don't have anybody signed up to that. I can't get anybody at YouTube to answer me because how do they prove it's all that mess? So we'll just say
Right.
intellectual property law is a poison on the industry in a big way, especially when it comes to young naive kids that signed a licensing agreement and some royalties that weren't necessarily in their best interest, right? You know, so that's a great question. It's hell. But it's also awesome because honestly, like getting to reconnect and just connect with people in general that give a shit, there's nothing better. Like I've always had such a my cup gets filled with, as I've kind of mentioned, with community and just meeting other people that are like-minded and having fun and just riffing and bullshitting and just and just being, right? So getting like a little DM from somebody that saw us, you know, 20 years ago at a this is a really interesting one. It was a defunct Boy Scouts summer camp that was like abandoned. A punk rock show outside of St. Louis at like getting somebody to be like, hey, I saw you guys here. Do you remember that? I'm like, no, I don't. And then I have that epiphany like, oh shit, I do remember that. And it was awesome. And there was in the middle of nowhere and the grass was up to our chests, but that hall was sick and we had a blast. And there were like 200 kids shoulder to shoulder, sweating, you know, to the floor. And just, you know, those kind of reconnections are invaluable to me, right? Like just reconnecting with anybody that, you know, was a part of that community, a part of that time, and like I said, connecting with new people that give a shit. I'm just glad they're there and willing to even check it out and be a part of it. So it's the worst and the best. I'm not sure that that's the right answer, but it's I feel
it's definitely different.
It's very different. There you go. It's very
different means to a similar end potentially.
Right. Yes. Less saturated back in the day, to say the least. And now, if you aren't paying for the boosts and all of the different things, it's very tricky to catch wind or even eyes of people that are on your actual followers list. So it's a maddening moment. But you know, we're glad to be here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because you know, MySpace, that was it. You know, and then the competitor was Facebook. But back when there was MySpace, that was, you know, it was Facebook was just for college kids at that time.
Right.
And, you know, but now you've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So I won't call it X. I won't. It's Twitter.
It's Twitter.
Right.
You got TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I think we had YouTube back then too, but it's just, you know, you have
limited.
Yeah, you had like 10 plus different social medias to try and keep up with at all times.
And we can't forget Pure Volume.
Oh, but that mp3.com if we're gonna really do it.
Those weren't social medias though.
Right. That was almost a precursor to like a lot of what we started seeing with, you know, like the music implementation on social media like MySpace, right?
You're right.
But that was a big staple.
Because check this out. I remember mp3.com is the reason we met the receiving end of Sirens. The receiving end of Sirens were our bros, because I was just a fanboy from my college dorm. You know what I mean? So I just following them from them and then reaching out to them like a little geek. And then we ended up recording with the same, you know, we ended up going on tour with them, et cetera, et cetera. So it was absolutely like a precursor to social media, because it let me know they existed, and I started you know, fangirling them all the time, like, yo, you guys are killing it, and you know, so,
well, it was kind of like the Spotify, you know, almost back then.
Absolutely,
you know,
like 1 or 2 songs unless you paid extra or something ridiculous. In fact, I remember getting a check from mp3.com. We got a check for the amount of streams we got. It might have been like $12 or $20, but it was a check nonetheless.
Right.
The same thing with Pure Volume, though. I mean, I think that's how we like met you guys, was through Pure Volume.
Absolutely,
because back in like the And Then I Turned 7 days, it was a constant battle between like us and Daphne Loves Derby for like that number 1 and 2 spot.
Yes,
and it was just constantly battling with. It was always Daphne Loves Derby. It was always that.
Yep.
I forgot they always had that top plays on the front that you'd always see, like, oh.
Well, I was gonna say too. I mean, even my old band actually played one show with you guys in Milwaukee in like 05 or 06, and I can't remember if we went through you guys or like a separate like promoter, but it was at the Rave Bar in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one show in like 05 or 06, but again, like I don't remember if like we got in contact with you like through MySpace or what it was, or if it was like a promoter thing. It was so long ago, and I was just a measly little drummer back then. So
wee lad.
Yeah, just
I wonder, was that with League from Buffalo, New York? Does that sound familiar at all?
Yeah, it's been
because
so
I'm
long.
almost positive. I can like see that venue still. I'm like 90% sure my boy Dave Raymond was out with either League. I think it was still League and not Demira yet, from Buffalo, New York, and I'm pretty positive we were there with him. So that I bet I can find it. I bet I can find it. What was the group name at the time, Brett?
Our band was called Remember the Day, and it was just that one show at the Rave Bar in Milwaukee.
Okay. I'll see if I can't find our old shows list because I've got it somewhere hidden as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's even on Setlist FM somewhere too. You never know.
True, it really could be. You'd be surprised how much stuff you find out there that's wild. Like just coming across old posters. Like I ordered a really cool poster on eBay the other day because I had no idea if this poster even existed. We did an incredible Christmas show with it was the Starting Line, Me Without You, and Armor for Sleep in Philly. At the Electric Factory. Sold fucking out. Incredible show. I didn't know they made screen printed posters, and then I found this thing on eBay for $40, one of 150 made. I was like, oh, I gotta have it. So just like dumb stuff like that. Like I love my old relics like that. So it's always I love that digital archaeology, kind of exploration. We'll say. So just coming across stuff like that's sick to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I love doing that too. I like I'll always try to search out like friends shows or like my like if you could ever find stuff of like my bands and stuff, I'm always like, oh yeah, that's sweet. Like
nothing better, honestly.
I love it. And I keep like, like little sections, little posters and stuff made of all that stuff. It's we're an age of collectors and hoarders / collectors. I still have so many old merch, like bands we toured with, or like just my own bands and stuff that I'm like, well, I'm keeping this. I'm gonna keep this. Like,
right.
Just bins of just stuff.
Right. I feel the same way. It's hard to get rid of it, in a digital world when we're still slightly analog. It's like, I don't know if I want to get rid of this. Like, how can I turn these 25 shirts into a blanket? Or like, what can I do to like actually repurpose this point to actually, so it's not just a 25 shirts of bands we used to tour that are size medium that I haven't been able to wear in 20 years, but I still want them. I still love the screen printing and the memory tied to it. So I totally feel that.
Yeah. I've got like one of my like best friend's band's first ever shirts. It's a medium. I'll never be a medium again. Ever.
Same.
But I'll never get rid of it.
Right. There's no reason to, honestly. No. But nostalgia is a hell of a drug and it's hard when it hits.
It's true. Yeah. All right. We got one more question before we go to a quick break. If you could give our listeners a piece of advice that you know now that you wish you knew when you were first starting out your musical journey, what would that be?
Trust your gut and paying dues is bullshit. Because there were so many adults that told us, oh, buddy, you got to play 100 shows before anybody will care. And you got to do this before anybody will care. And you got to do that. And then I tour with a band that plays one show and sells 25,000 albums on their first week. It's like, okay, I don't, it's just a way to like, in my opinion, keep the idiots quiet for a while until, kind of a thing. It was kind of like, okay, well, I appreciate the direction. It's bullshit. So number one, if you believe in it and you believe yourself, everything's made up in our whole society from top to bottom, and we all just agree on it. So if you feel like you can do it, just do it. And second, don't let anybody dampen your flame. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh man, I can't agree with that more. Yeah. Can't agree with that more. It's all made up. It's all just shit somebody made up. All of it. Right. Like an apple even. Why is it called an apple? I don't know. Somebody named it that. Everything's made up, guys. Everything.
We just agree to it, and some of it sucks and some of it doesn't. A majority of it sucks, but but we just got to keep in mind everything can change tomorrow. Everything's pretend. So it's like I try to be very optimistic, not toxically positive. Because I know toxic positivity is a very real thing. That's bullshit. I try to have extreme, for lack of better words, revolutionary optimism that things can just be better, and they should be, because everything's pretend. So, and we all just agree on the society and the system. So, if we want to redesign and reimagine things,
just got to come up with new ideas.
Yep,
I love it. And organize.
That's right, and organize and be relentless. Don't give up on yourself or your dream. Because somebody told you that ain't it.
Right. 100%. I feel inspired. I feel inspired to go check out these sponsors. So with that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with our next segment.
I want to say thank you again to Open Your Ears Records for partnering with us to help bring even more new artists to your attention. You know, Open Your Ears Records is an amazing independent record label out of Richmond, Virginia, with a killer friggin' lineup of up-and-coming bands and artists. We've talked about this now. And this week, we're stoked to tell you about the second track, Pressure, from Providence, Rhode Island band Another One Down. It's off of their highly anticipated upcoming EP, Face Reality, releasing May 2nd. Now let me tell you a little bit about the band in case you've been missing out and don't know who they are yet. Well, Another One Down continues reinventing their sound with records containing everything from massive pop-punk anthems, aggressive fast-paced rock tracks, and shimmering ambient ballads. Their lyrics tackle the struggles that come with self-reflection, depression, and heartbreak with a mature and emotional vulnerability. With such a diverse and rich catalog, Another One Down truly has something for everybody. You're going to love them, and you can check out our interview with them back on episode 104 or season 3 episode 35. Thank you again so much to Open Your Ears Records for sponsoring this week's episode.
All right, and we are back. Thanks so much for sticking around. We're hopping into our food for thought segment where we talk about one of our favorite subjects, food. Pat, you want to kick this off? Should I kick this off? How do you want to do this?
I don't care.
All right,
you do it. You're already talking.
I'm already talking. I'll keep the momentum going. The vocal cords are warmed up. We're primed. We're ready to go.
Yes.
So Nick, thinking back to 2006, how has your pre-show or post-show eating changed since then compared to now? Because let's face it, we're not all the same young whippersnappers that we used to be.
Oh, what a good question. So I remember a lot of, and this is kind of embarrassing, a lot of sardines, a lot of like canned meats and crackers. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, like canned fish and like spilling the oil on my jeans and being like them permanently being ruined, because not knowing the Coke trick of getting of grease out. But like a lot of hummus, a lot of whatever was given to us for free, which wasn't much.
Usually
I remember
pizza.
Right, I was about to say pizza was generally it, right? I tell you, I actually had to at one point break up with McDonald's when the dollar menu started when we were on tour because I knew I would have been 1,000 pounds. So I actually ended up breaking up with them at one point on tour and never going back for almost 12 years. Like I had to for my physical health, we'll say. But yeah, it was very few and far between, we'll say, were the food options of the day, especially when we were living on $5 per diems a day. We weren't making any money, so it was like if we couldn't get it for $5, it wasn't happening. So,
but back then, one of the things I just also want to note. Back then, you can't live on a $5 per diem anymore. But back then, you could. That was an all day kind of thing. $5.
We were good.
It's not like you were eating like kings, but $5 was gonna last you the day.
Oh yeah. Absolutely did. It was like we get free alcohol at a venue, and that was like no food, but chips, and like, oh, okay, or if the band that we're playing with didn't want their food, it's like, yo, we're not above, eating your leftovers.
I'll take your sardines.
Just saying.
Sardines, baby.
Y'all
got any preserved fish in your air? Give me a call. But no, it was, I'd say that was a big staple for us for a while. We were actually sponsored by Red Bull, so we had a flat or two of Red Bull in the back of the van. So I don't know if you've ever had the violent experience of having a warm, sugar-free Red Bull or not, but boy, I tell you what, when you're driving on that 8-hour drive and you need to keep it going, a warm, sugar-free Red Bull is maybe one of the worst possible things to drink. But we were thankful for them because it kept us alive and awake, etc. So I'd say definitely Red Bull as well as a part of that. And I just remembered as well, our friends in June were sponsored by Chipotle. So they actually gave us a ton of free bullshit because they were our bros. So it was just like free guac and free quesadillas, and we'd just stop at them anytime we'd see them. So that was definitely paramount to it as well.
What are you doing now though? What's adult Nick doing?
Yeah, great question. So, might see on my shirt here, housing is a human right. I work in the homeless crisis response systems. Everybody deserves to have a home. And that's something that I work on every single day as a housing navigator for the Heartland Containment Care. So I work to try and build relationships with housing providers, help people that are in shelter get back into home in an expedited pace, and just kind of help people understand that you can make money by doing the right thing for people that need a hand. So sometimes that's explaining policy of fair housing. Sometimes that's helping landlord understand law. Sometimes that's almost being a salesperson on doing the right thing for our community. So very lucky to be doing what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 3.5 years now. It's the best work I've ever done on my whole life. And I just love being able to wake up every day and love my life and my job and doing something that matters. I spent a majority of my life in hospitality, just making some old rich dude richer. And it really made me resentful and not have a lot of sparks of joy. So being able to, serve my community and materially affect people's existence in a little bit of a more positive way is, amazing to me. So that's what I'm up to. So kind of a social worker, kind of a real estate agent, kind of a housing law junkie, just a geek all around.
Love it. Keeping people in their houses, off the
getting them in,
streets.
keeping them there, and doing our things to people getting precariously housed. So yeah,
good. I love that. And so kind of going back to you're in the food industry, and so you're close enough now. Okay, I'm saying close enough to Chicago, and you've done plenty of Chicago, right? So now this is an important question that we ask every artist from in and around Chicago. Okay, ketchup on hot dogs, yes or no?
I'm trash and I'm a Chup advocate. So yes, ketchup goes on a lot of things. I am gross. I am not proud of it. In fact, I don't know if you caught it. I called it Chup because that's how close we are. I don't even do the 2 syllables. So
you guys are
further, let me show you how low class I am.
I love it. I'm here for it.
A very dear friend of mine actually sent this to me as a ceramic ketchup bottle for like a few kitchen items or whatever. So funny little inside joke between my friend Faith and I that she got me that. So yes, I am a Chup advocate, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Okay, good.
Nothing wrong with that.
There isn't. I know a few people that may want to fight you now, but
that's fine. No. I'm rowdy and I'm reckless, so send them my way. I'll put mayonnaise on a hot dog for all I care. You know what I'm saying? So I'm spicy with it.
I agree. I'm a sauce kind of guy. I love sauces. I can't have my stuff be dry. It's boring.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some of that food juice. I need a slather in a little mayonnaise. Maybe a nice fancy aioli. Okay.
I'm the same way. If I go to a restaurant and like there's a list of burgers and there's something that sounds really good, but then I see there's no like sauce on it, like I'm not talking about like just ketchup, right? Like maybe it's like a Santa Fe burger and there's no sauce on it. I'm like, no, I think I'll do something else. Everything else sounds great, but it doesn't have sauce. I don't want it.
It's gotta have some kind of sauce.
Gotta have the sauce.
Completely agree.
Gotta have the sauce.
Completely agree. If it doesn't have some kind of like gochujang, like spicy, sweet, I gotta have something, add a little razzle to the dazzle,
Right. Gotta spritz it up a little bit, goose it up, if you will.
Yes.
Yes.
Elevated.
Elevated.
Yeah.
Gotta elevate the burger.
Right.
Speaking of elevated, what is your go-to Taco Bell order?
Oh yeah.
Great question. I don't hit the bell often, but I love the Crunchwrap Supreme. I've made several elevated Crunchwrap Supremes in my home, with whatever's around to make a fun, filling crunch, etc. So I will go with the Crunchwrap Supreme. And I am a fan of those nasty little cinnamon ball things.
So good.
They're so good.
There's like a dozen in a sitting. Yes, those are. I'm with it. So
those are primo.
Yeah, the Cinnabon bites. That's
exactly.
They hit. They just hit.
A touch of sweet cream cheese with most any dessert, and I'm sold. From the carrot
Right.
cakes of the world to the red velvets, I'm co-signing all of them.
I love red
Yep.
velvet too. That's so
Same.
good.
It's one of my favorites as well. Yeah,
What
it's exactly what you said. That sweet cream, like
Yeah.
Yes.
I love
Something
that.
about
I
it.
love that
Something,
sweet
it's
cream.
like the fat content with the sugar, with the zing of the, I don't know.
Hey, baby.
All I know is it sings to me, okay?
Mhm. So what's your favorite all-time dessert then?
That's tricky. Okay. I'll give you my answer. Would be Luminary Kitchen and Provisions is a incredible restaurant here in Springfield.
Yeah.
Some of my closest friends in the world helped open it. I helped open it. I actually helped my friends build it, brick and mortar and whatnot. But they have an incredible chocolate budino dish that is like this mix between a mousse, a fudge, a pudding, and I don't know how to describe it, but it is the most incredible velvety, chocolatey goodness like that I probably ever had when it comes to a chocolate experience. And I am a chocolate person. I am a simp for chocolate. If it comes with peanut butter, if it comes with caramel, I don't care. I'm not here to discriminate. If chocolate is involved, I'm there, kind of a
You're
thing.
in.
So I'm gonna go with the Budino from Luminary Kitchen and Provisions.
Damn, that sounds tasty. I also enjoy chocolate a good amount.
I'm a chocolate and peanut butter guy. Like
Yeah.
both
Oh
of those
yes,
together, that does all the things for me.
yes, same.
Yeah.
Hard same.
Dude, same. Chocolate and peanut butter, so good. All right. Our last now this might be a little thinker for you. All right.
Okay, let's do it.
Our last food for thought question. My cat is like causing a menace. He's a menace right now.
That's why my door is closed.
Love it.
He's never came back here yet. He just found out I was here. Okay. So if the Junior Varsity was a potato, what kind of potato would you be?
Now, are we talking like a species of potato, or are we talking about a preparation? Like, are you talking like, is JV more of a twice baked potato, or is more JV more of like a gnocchi? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that
However your heart wants to take this. Like,
okay? I've got some good ideas.
all right.
Now, you know when you go to the state fair and there's
Yeah.
those spiral ribbon potatoes where they take
Oh,
them
yeah.
and they make them like super thin and deep fry them, and then they put nacho toppings on top of them,
Oh,
like grilled
yeah.
meat and all that. That's the JV because we got a little white trash to us. We got the crispy fried goodness to us. We got the greasy mess at the bottom with the napkin that just kind of like, oh, you know, and then you got a bellyache afterwards. So I'll give it the whole Hasselback nachos of the state fair. It sounds like a JV embodied item to me.
Hell yeah.
It. I love it.
Maybe topped with barbecue pork instead of like ground beef, just because.
Ooh, there you go. You're going
There's the
off,
caveat.
just going off all on your own, you know, just make it whatever you want now. I love it. No, that's a great question, or a great answer to that question. I love this question. It's everybody is different, and
Right.
everybody interprets that question different.
People really get into this one too. Like we've had some where it's like they really like give it a lot of thought. Where like it's like a good like minute before like we get an answer because like they're really like going at it, like wait, there's so many choices. I can't mess this up. This is a big moment for me.
It's a big moment for me.
This is a big moment for me. I can't get this wrong.
No, there's so many different ways you can go about it. So, and I love it. I love it when when you make it like you did a great job because you made it like very personal to you, like
Right.
as well, and the band. So,
I was also impressed with like the multi-tiered explanation you gave of each individual like ingredient and how that like pertained to the band, you know, like like props.
Like I said, if there's one thing I am, it's a lot. So I appreciate you letting me share like that.
Hell yeah.
I am a taste that sometimes you have to acclimate yourself with. So I love being around people that you know welcome that kind of stuff. So appreciate you guys.
We're here for it. We're definitely here for it.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. You're doing this now. Okay.
There we go.
Give me.
Perfect.
Hey, bud.
Just relax.
Perfect.
Just relax.
Yes.
If you're gonna be here, you gotta chill. Okay. All right. Sit in the lap. All right. That's it for the food for thought segment. This is Artie now. He's joining us for a bit.
Hey, Artie.
But now it's time for rapid fire questions.
Friendships will be tested. Rapid fire questions.
You're just going to speak from your heart, just shoot
Yep.
from the hip. Whatever the first thing that pops into your head, even if it's not one of the two options I present to you, you go for it. You speak your truth.
Okay.
All right. Monster Energy or Rockstar?
Monster.
I thought you were going to go Red Bull.
I was thinking about it, but I'm not a huge fan of the flavor, to be honest with you.
You've been burned by the warm Red Bull
I'm telling
taste.
you, a warm sugar-free Red Bull, I can like still feel the gravel. It feels like I'm drinking rock slightly. Something about it. I can still like see a mountain corner I'm on, drinking that, and just being like, oh, why am I doing this? So yes, it's like a visceral like time transport moment that I can like feel. So it's like Red Bull later, dudes.
Right. I like the new flavors of Red Bull. Here's my thing. I want to say, I gotta say this because I don't think I've said it yet. Red Bull regular flavor it tastes like I'm drinking blood. It tastes like pennies. And
it has a very metallic flavor. Completely agree.
Yeah. And so I can't drink like the regular flavor because I feel like I'm just drinking like spiky blood. Just a little spicy blood. And I don't like that.
There was another energy drink in hospitality forever. It was like NOS, N-O-S. It was kind of like a grapefruit flavored. Like, man, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
that was
good stuff.
Yeah, I drink one of those. I have a heart murmur for a week. I was a fan.
Yeah, NOS was like really intense when like energy drinks were coming out.
Yes.
And then they started shooting NOS into the cars in Fast and Furious. And now I know. Now I know, because that's what it is, right? It's just the energy drink. That's what they're shooting into the cars.
That's how cars go fast.
It's how cars go fast. That should be that should be like their slogan. Like Red Bull gives you wings. NOS, it's how cars go fast.
Hey, NOS is ready for a comeback. Sounds like to me. If you've seen any Red Bull commercials, anything goes, because there's nothing about energy drinks in any of those commercials.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Back to rapid fire. Pop punk or emo?
Emo all day.
All right. Taylor Swift or John Mayer?
I'm a Swiftie if I had to pick.
All right. I would say I'm not a Swiftie. I would say I'm a Taylord.
Ooh, okay. I appreciate the caveat there. Well, I anecdotally I have to mention one of the bands we toured with, a band called The Actual. I don't know if you ever played with them or not. We did a couple tours with them around the United States. Their lead singer, guitar player, is a gentleman named Max Bernstein. Max is the longtime guitar player for Taylor Swift and has been for about a decade now. So he is in on all the cool stuff. I mean, just an amazing guy and a mentor, a big brother to me. And so anytime somebody wants to get, shitty about Taylor Swift and all that, it's like, that's my dude up there. So watch your language, right?
Right.
So he would probably be one of the original Taylords.
I would posit he would be damn close.
Awesome. Well, that's freaking cool. Skinny jeans or baggy pants?
I still like a good slim fit myself, so not a Jinko boy.
Oh, I miss Jinkos though. I think I would look really stupid in them now though.
I don't sell myself short.
But I'm not opposed to trying. If Jinko wants to shoot me over some pants,
send it on over, Jinko.
Yeah, get me that. Give me them twin cannons, baby.
Ooh. Ooh.
The one where you can hide like 3 or 4 baseball bats in your pant leg at a time.
Right. And like 28 Walkman.
Still in the packaging too.
Right.
Disney Plus or Netflix?
Netflix.
Stuffed crust or deep dish pizza?
Deep dish.
Likes a good lasagna.
Laser me.
Vans or Chuck Taylors? Oh,
Man, I'm gonna go with the Chuck Taylors. Both of the support and both of them are pretty terrible, but yeah. For iconic seeing feet coverings, we'll go with the old Charles shoes.
Some Charlie T's.
Some Charlie T's. CT's shoes.
It's like PF Flyers, but it's CT's.
Hey, be a comeback for him then.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is the last one.
Right.
All American Rejects or The Offspring?
All American Rejects, probably, honestly. I'm a simp for a good little pop song.
They make good music. They both make good music. And they both make pop music. But
agreed, they do. They do. I've just always been I've something about Rejects always kind of hit me. So
he does have a bit more of a luscious, silky voice compared to The Offspring.
Right. That's probably what it really comes down to, honestly.
Yeah, you love that lushy, silky.
I like a little silk. I like a little smooth, little creamy, cool.
Yeah.
Little crispy cream on top.
I like some crunch here and there, but in my pop, I need a little less here and there.
He likes to have his, Krispy Kreme in his silk pajamas.
Ooh, don't start. I'll put my robe on.
I'm taking a cold shower after this.
Oh, I love you guys. This was great. All right,
awesome.
Nick. Well, you did it. That's it. You finished the podcast. Now's your chance. Kind of just give us a little refresher. Let everybody know what you got going on, where they could find you, and what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, any social media topics, platforms, the Junior Varsity, new songs on Spotify, YouTube, every streaming, entity, including Touch Tunes at your local tavern, for old JV spins. But yeah, lucky to be here, glad to be here. Stay tuned for 2025. A lot of fun opportunities, and in general, moving forward, our plan is to just create more in art, be more intentional with our time in general. So stay tuned for all things JV, because we're not done.
Hell yes.
Excellent.
Can't wait. 2025. We need something to look forward to.
That's right.
Looks like it's going to be the JV.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. This has been another episode of the Unsigned Pop Punk Podcast. We're going to see you all on Monday.
Thank you so much for checking out the show. Please hit that like, subscribe, or follow button so you never miss an episode. And thank you to those who already are. Please rate and review the show to help the show be found by new people. And if you're in the position to help us grow, head on over to our website where you can find merch, our Patreon, and other ways that you can help at www.unsignedpoppunk.com. Let us know in the comments who else you'd like to see on the show and what other content you would like to see. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.